Hey, what's up? It's Turbo from 91.3 FM and the Metal Meltdown, joined right now by Devildriver. I got Mike and Jeff with me. Now, you guys are on Metal Alliance Tour, headlining. How are you feeling about it?
It's good. The tour's going really well. It's a long tour. It's been successful, and there's a lot of great bands on the tour, so it's overall a success.
Any stories that you guys care to share?
A few obstacles. We've had our Bubble, our bass player, got pneumonia before the tour. Spent 11 days in the hospital. So we have our guitar tech, Chris Towning, who's also plays in Bury Your Dead, and he's been playing bass for us. Jeff's guitar got stolen in Joliet, Chicago, but got returned to the police station the next day thanks to an overwhelming amounts of posts and a security cam photo. We got the guy. He left it on I guess he left it on in front of a police station with a note that said sorry. Someone in our camp got jumped by 7 guys in where was it, in Denver. Yep. Luckily it wasn't too bad, just a little couple of punches to the face, I guess, and no reason, or didn't go for his wallet or nothing, just a bunch of kids just wanted to be jerks, who knows. Threw my back out pretty bad in the beginning of the tour, which means I guess I need to start exercising a little bit more.
We're having a good time, just
but
you guys were wondering.
Yeah, a little bit of drama on this tour, but other than that, it's been pretty good.
Any more touring that you guys have lined out?
There's a possibility for another tour at the end of the year, but it's just an idea at the moment right now. So we're gonna see what happens.
Recently, you guys have left Roadrunner, I guess you could say. Now, what's it looking like now for you guys as far as finding a new label, or have you already found a new label?
Don't know yet. We're gonna let our management take care of that, and we're still quite a whiles away. We're gonna start getting heavily into writing when we get back from Europe, and we're doing some writing now, but we're going to hit it hard once we get back from the festival run we're doing in Europe through June. So starting around July, we're going to start doing that pretty hard.
We're going to get into the whole writing thing. That's the most important thing for us right now, and to continue to get those records out as quick as we can, which we try and make a conscious effort to do.
Yeah, you guys are pretty consistent, cranking them out every 2 years or so. I mean, which is pretty, the standard, I guess you could say, in this day and age. Now, the split with Roadrunner, was that kind of like amicable, or was that like,
It's always amicable. It's just business.
Right.
There's nothing besides that.
Okay, fair enough. There you go. Any rumors? Squashed right there. Jeff and Mike telling me. YouTube, in the digital age or whatever, the internet, one of my favorite videos to go on there and watch when it comes to like, Wall of Death or like Circle Pit is your guys' 2007 Download performance. I mean, surely you guys remember that.
Of course.
Tell me a little bit about that, because I'd murder to be there. How did it go down?
Talking about the one in the...
It was under the pavilion.
We did that 2 years in a row, and we had a pretty massive pit going. It was this big one, and then the last time we did Download, we were on the main stage, and we had to divide it up, and we actually had 3 going, because they have a big catwalk that goes out the front of the house, so we couldn't get one big one going. But hopefully we have a little bit of room for take it a little bit further this time.
Around that time, for whatever reason, that just kind of happened. It was just like a magic moment in the band's career that just kind of came together, which that happens from time to time with different people, so we're stoked.
Talk to me about like your influences growing up and what led to you creating the music that you do today.
Well, and we all kind of share a love for Metallica and Pantera. I would say that's a common ground that we all feed off of, and those were the bands that kind of brought us into the whole metal scene when we were kids. And Berkland does a lot of writing for the band, and he has more of a tendency to write things a little bit more thrashy and dissonant sounding. And then I would say Jeff and I are a little bit, he's really into Iron Maiden and things like that. And so I think Jeff and I kind of added a little bit more of the melodic aspects to Devildriver and have a little bit more of a European influence.
On Beast, Crowns of Creation, I believe it's called, has a very kind of melodic tone to that. I mean, which one of you guys are responsible for that?
Which part of it?
The
thing is about Devildriver that's interesting is that everybody writes, and literally you're talking like, and sometimes you'll have songs where you'll have like a riff that I wrote or whatever, Mike wrote, and then I wrote or John wrote, and then John Miller, who was with us for years, and sometimes literally that's how the songs comprise. It's like everyone's individual riff, so sometimes it's like kind of hard to discern like what part.
We write things, we put it in the computer, in pre-production at my house, and there's been numerous times I've even asked John or Jeff, and be like, who wrote that? And they look at me and go, you did. And I'll be like, Okay, I don't remember. I don't even remember how to
Just
play
having
it.
a
So
good day.
it's even and putting that stamp on it being mine or Jeff's or Berkman's has kind of faded away. I mean, we've been riding together for so long now. Even before Devildriver was around, we were in a band together, and it's I kind of tend to forget who writes what
I was
sometimes.
gonna say we have our system down so well with just demoing and writing that it just works. It just kind of naturally comes about, especially with Mike producing all the stuff, because we can pretty much do a whole record at Mike's house before we ever even step into the studio. And there's a huge advantage to that. It's not just like a simple little demo. It's like a full-length album with like multiple layers and like production and mixing and mastering. Every albums, or most of the time, we just do it for our own sake, and then we go and replicate it in the studio.
Makes things easier for Jeff too, because then he can have an actual CD to write to before we actually go into the studio and re-record everything.
Right. As far as lyrical content, Devildriver kind of runs the gamut as far as what you guys have in your music lyrically. One line that I've just always like really latched onto and loved was off of "Pray for Villains," the title track to the album. Tell me about that song and what that line specifically means, if you could.
I think that, and again, you'd have to talk to Des more about the lyrical content, but I mean, it basically means like if you want to put it in terms of like rooting for the bad guy, like sometimes the good guy isn't the guy to get the job done, sometimes the good guy fails, so the bad guy's the only one left, and sometimes the bad guy's the underrated guy who gets his chance finally. So
he was rooting for the Butcher and Gangs of New York.
Right.
That's probably where it comes from.
It might have been an interview that I saw with Des, and it was years ago, about the origination of the name Devildriver.
Devildriver is a bell that they would use to drive evil spirits away.
I got you. There we go.
They had the original name of the band was Death Ride back in the day, but there was a bicycle race that was called the Death Ride, and I think there was other issues where it would have been too hard for us to trademark the name, and so we had to go and. Or this was actually before I was in the band, but they had to go search out and find a different name.
I mean, if I remember rocking a Devildriver shirt and I'm walking around or whatever, people always like the first thing they're going to assume that it has to be satanic or something of that nature or whatever else. So
it really isn't.
Yeah, right. And that's the thing that you have to try to explain and like sell people on is like, no, it's not satanic. And then even for those that are have 666 or a pentagram on it, most of those guys don't actually practice Satanism. I mean, where do you guys kind of stand on that whole thing?
Well, it gets to the point in life where some people are just so stupid, I don't even waste my time trying to even talk to the people that just don't get it, because I have better things to do. It doesn't really matter to me as far as like trying to get everyone to agree on one thing and believe in one thing and look at one thing and say the same thing. It will never happen. So it's like I don't even really worry about it. Like if you're into what I'm into, cool. If you're not, like I don't care. So that's really where it.
Whatever floats your boat. I mean, whatever makes you happy, one religion or another. I'm not one to say that, I'm not a religious person whatsoever, and to tell you the truth, I'm not even all that spiritual. But I just kind of live in the now, and I just, if, one of my best friends back home is, full-blown Christian, and I kind of take what she teaches me from it, and, try to learn from it, and just take it for what it is, and as long as people don't go around pushing their religion on other people, I have no problems with it.
I mean, you guys have been around long enough in Devildriver that you guys have seen like an evolution of the way media works, the internet, the illegal downloads, legal downloads, YouTube, and things of that nature. Social networking is huge. Do you guys actively participate in social media, support or disapprove of downloading?
Well, Jeff and I have had to dive into social media pretty hard in the last year once we started our website, allaccess.com, and just for promotional purposes. And it is a good thing. I think, a good example is I don't think Roadrunner, had a very big, presence in Russia. But when we played there, and we're actually going back there again this summer for the first time in many years, I mean, we had over 1,000 people come to our show in Moscow, and I'd probably that's a large, due to the fact of social media and the internet. But I truly believe that we're still in a transitional phase, and I think people are still learning how to, compensate with what people are doing with illegal downloads. I am a big fan of supporting the arts and the artists, and a lot of people out there think that, just because you're on tour in a bus or doing shows like these, that we're rich, and drive fancy cars and have big houses out in Hollywood, which is completely not the case whatsoever. And you know, we do have a very cool job, but it still is work, and I feel that artists should get paid for what they do.
Merch, merch, merch. It's how these guys make money now. Did you guys catch the 2012 Golden God Awards, or at least like the results?
I watched, I'm a big Johnny Depp and Marilyn Manson fan, so I watched that performance, and that was pretty much all that I've had a chance to watch so far.
Care to comment on the winners?
I was, you know, I gotta say, I was happy that the Revolver Awards actually got someone like Johnny Depp to come down and play and perform, because I think that it gives heavy metal and hard rock a bigger spotlight, more of a spotlight than it deserves. Because let's face it, any industry needs support, and the more people we have supporting what we do, metal and whatnot, then the better we're gonna be. And like Mike said, you know, no one's rich. We work really hard. All the bands out here work really, really hard, you know, and we deserve to get the compensation, you know, we're entitled to. So it helps to have just like the more support for our music and our lifestyle and our career, the better, you know.
When I'm not listening to metal, I'm listening to
Bob Marley.
Bob Marley. And for you?
Air.
Air? All right,
Yeah.
Any final words or things that you want to convey to the fans of Devildriver or the metal, you know, community in general?
Thanks for all your support for the past 10 years. Check out Mike and I's guitar community, www.allaccess.com. And it's a great place on the web to check out music, guitar-related news, and talk with your friends.
Devildriver here on the Metal Alliance Tour 2012 playing Kane's Ballroom. I'm super stoked. It's Turbo with the Metal Meltdown on 91.3.